Most clinicos think they have a marketing problem or a recruitment problem or a team training problem or a low business valuation problem when they try to sell their clinic, but they don't. They actually have a business that depends on them too much. And until they get that fixed, every problem keeps coming back. In this video, I'll show you what to do about it. The life of many allied health business owners looks a bit like this. They're the first into the practice. They're the last out every day. They treat patients all day. They spend the night time fixing rosters and invoicing. They're handling staff dramas. You might have known this one. They get the message on Friday afternoon from one of their team members saying, "I need to speak to you," which is usually code for "I'm resigning and I want to let you know about it." As a result, the owners, they're missing their kids' events because everything depends on them. They can't take holidays because your revenue will drop too much if you take time away. Sleepless nights, worrying about cash flow, staff problems. You all know what I'm talking about. You're essentially trapped. Yet your team, they can leave at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and don't even think about the business until the next day. Most of your team or some of your team make more money than you do. And their wage is also guaranteed. There's an argument your team have a better life than you. They take holidays, they get sick leave, they get parental leave, carers leave, all the other leaves we now get. And they don't really think about the business success at all. Now maybe you're thinking, yeah, but I'm the main biller and I bring in 60% of the revenue. If I'm not treating, we don't make any money. Now, in the dentist world, there's an expression for that. They say, if you're not drilling, you're not billing. That's the dentist expression. Or maybe you've had good staff leave and you're constantly training replacements and never getting ahead. Or maybe you've tried business systems before and they just collected dust because you were too busy putting out fires to implement them. What I'm about to share with you changes everything. I'll give you some examples. James, one of our Practiceology clients, he had 2 clinics working 40 plus hours a week, hadn't taken a holiday for 3 years. And every time he tried to go away before that, something went wrong. Now he treats 1 day a week by choice. Profits are up, just spent a month in the States and wasn't contacted once by his team. Or one of my favorite clients, Sandra, 30-year veteran and practice owner in allied health. I received an email from Sandra and it was a real desperate email. She says, "Paul, I need help. My senior therapist has just resigned as he's opening up a practice up the road. She was at her dead set wit's end and she was going to give it away and shut the clinic. She's just had 4 weeks in Europe and the clinic didn't miss a beat." And what I laughed about Sandra, she had strict instructions when you go over to the UK. I don't want to hear from you, no emails, no messages, no work, nothing. You'd get an email and it said, the subject line, I think, was quick question about work. And then I opened the email, upset that she'd sent me this work email. And then she said, "Just joking, here's a photo of me with my son in London." So it's possible. Or Jonathan. Now, Jonathan attended one of our live events in Canada. He'd played with some of our online content, attended some webinars, but he hadn't seriously implemented yet. And he was doing 30 plus hours a week consulting and pretty burnt out. We systematically removed him from the clinic, fixed his internal systems, and he just sold his clinics, forget this, 5 times the original valuation. Now, there's a business lesson for you guys from Jonathan. Business valuation is a scorecard essentially of how dependent the business is on you. What your business is worth is a scorecard, a reflection of how dependent it is on you. The less dependent on you, the more it becomes valuable to someone else. Now, those 3 people, they're not special people. They're regular practice owners just like you who fix their business dependency issue, which is what we're talking about here today. Because let's talk about the practice owner's dream. And this is kind of what I went through. And this is it's almost the dream versus the reality for practice owners. And I get it because I've been there myself. The dream, my first clinic, I wanted flexible hours. I wanted to make good money. I wanted to be there for my children. And this is the Michael Gerber E-myth, entrepreneurial myth thing. But the reality of it is very different once you started. You're the first in, you're the last out. You're jumping between roles. You're the marketer, you're the recruiter, you're everything. You're paying the bills, you're doing the wages, you're HR, you're everything. And you feel like a rubber toy. You're pulled in lots of different directions. Now, I started my first physio practice, and get this, Paul G. Wright Physiotherapy. Now, what was I thinking? Name it after yourself. That's smart. But I had a treatment room in Chatswood in Sydney in those days, and I'd watch from the window. The sun would go up, and then I'd watch it come down, and from the room. I was there all the time. I started employing team members, but they would come and go. And I think my turning point was my fourth daughter. We've got four daughters. My youngest daughter was born. I must be a slow learner. And I remember, Helen, after we had our fourth daughter, I had to go back to the clinic maybe the day after the little one was born, and I missed out a lot of that first period of time in hospital because I went back to work, and that made me start making me realize how much I was missing out on. Now, I caught a lucky break in this period because I was heavily involved in the fitness industry. I was speaking at fitness conferences about personal training and weight training and rehab, etc. And at every fitness conference, there was a very strong business strand. So there'd be all the technical education sessions, but there'd be a very strong business component. And in those days, there was none of that at any allied health conference. There was just technical education, but there was a real business push. And the key insights, I'd spent all of my time in the fitness conference and the business section of that. And I got to learn from a great mentors in business. And I realized very early gyms were businesses. They were to deliver profits and deliver better lives to the owners. And then they were sold for great returns. And the more I looked at it, that's not how allied health practices are working. They were designed to serve everyone except the owner. They were looking after the patients, the staff, the landlord, the suppliers, but they weren't really focusing on the owner at all. So I set about learning everything I could about business, but marketing, sales, recruitment, and then applying it to allied health businesses. Essentially all the things that none of us learn at university about business ownership. The end result, I had 6 clinics, 5 of them in Sydney, and I didn't go to them. I ran them remotely. I was with my family. I was doing stuff at school, at the schools, and just the business was serving me. And actually, we'd have a 6-week holiday every year. I'd go overseas. I'd do a conference maybe to pay for some of the trip, and then with the family, then we'd go on a holiday. And when I was away, I didn't impact revenue at all. We're often more profitable when I wasn't there, which was funny enough. Following on from that, I developed seminars and programs teaching other health business owners how I did it. I launched Practiceology to teach owners how I did it. I launched the book. I wrote the book, How to Run a 1-Minute Practice. And then I eventually sold my clinics for excellent prices to focus on Practiceology and helping other owners earn more, work less, and enjoy their lives. But there's a big lesson in what I did here. The buyers of my clinic didn't actually buy health clinics. It's a bit counterintuitive. They didn't actually buy the practices. They bought 2 things. Firstly, they bought certainty. They bought certainty that the business would continue successfully after I was gone. It's the first thing they bought. So when you sell a business, you're selling the certainty that it's going to keep going. The second thing they bought, which was like a light bulb moment for me, they bought the lifestyle that I had. The buyers bought really what I had. They wanted what I had. They wanted the lifestyle that I had. And that led to one of the mantras. We roll it through our Practiceology group all the time. And you should use this if you can. You got to ask yourself, is what I'm about to do going to increase or decrease the sale price of my practice? Is what I'm about to do going to increase or decrease the sale price of your practice? You might be deciding to drop some consulting. You might want to add an AI admin, employ other therapists. Every decision you make, will this increase or decrease the sale price of my practice? And because I was able to remove myself from my practices, I sold the lifestyle that I had, which made it much more attractive to a buyer. Now, what I did learn on my personal journey to business freedom was that most owners' current business situation is not their fault. We get some bad advice from our universities and from other from other areas in our health business education world. A couple of things we get bad advice about. We think that patients come first, even when it's breaking you as the owner. We think that just being an excellent clinician will lead to you being a success in allied health. I call that the Cumberland curse. I went to Cumberland University in Sydney, and that's the curse that I had. I thought if I was technically great, I'd have a great business. Some other bad advice. You must stay hands-on you personally as the owner have to stay hands-on to ensure patient quality. It's rubbish. Patients only want to see the practice owner. More rubbish. So the result of this bad advice, and we get it all the time, this advice is great for our therapists, but it creates fragile businesses and exhausted owners. This advice works for the employees of our business, but it doesn't really help us. It's actually deadly for us as practice owners. What owners should get from their practice? I believe the only role of a business is to give you more life and not to consume it. Owners should earn more than their teams. You deserve a lot more time off and without stress and panic. And you deserve a business that can run and work without you. I also believe your business should reward you as the practice owner. You've taken a lot of risks and done a lot of paid a lot of price to have your practice. So your business should reward you. My beautiful wife Helen and I, when I had the practices, we'd have every Friday was date day. We go to the movies, we go for dinner, and we still do it now. We have date day Fridays. At least then, if there was a lot of crap happening Monday to Thursday, I knew that I had Friday off. The business served me rather than me being at work, whereas my team probably had to go to work. Now, our clients in Practiceology do the same thing. The business must reward you. If it doesn't reward you, it's draining you. And it should also reward you handsomely when you decide to exit or sell it. It's got to reward you when you decide to exit or sell it. So that led to my personal mission statement. I vowed to help return owners to their families. That's kind of what I did, and give them their lives back. That's kind of that's what I wanted to teach and what I teach in Practiceology. And that led to our mantra, helping health business owners earn more, work less, and enjoy their lives. Because the truth of all this is happy owners, if you're a great and happy owner, you'll make better decisions, your team will perform better, you'll get better patient outcomes. Everyone wins when the owner isn't drowning. So let's talk about what's really going on in most health businesses. It usually comes back to business dependency on the owner. Marketing problems are symptoms. Recruitment problems are symptoms. Pricing and valuation problems are symptoms. The real problem is business dependency. If the clinic wobbles when you're away, that's dependency. If admin runs on memory, that's dependency. If growth depends on your energy, that's dependency. That, my friends, it's not a business. That's a very stressful job with overheads. It's really what it becomes. Let me show you a model that I've used a lot in our world, in the Practiceology world. Now, this is we call this the 4 futures model. And if we think about here we are today, now what the axis, ideal, okay, poor, or disaster, this may be revenue. It may also, maybe it's time with your family. So you use whatever metric you like. In my case, in a lot of Practiceology, it's time away from work, or it's free time, or time to do the things you want to do. Now, if you look over time, 1 year, 2 years, think about where you are on this line. If in 1 year's time you don't do anything, you might be just cruising along here and it's staying the same. Or let's say you're making some bad decisions, it'll drop. You'll have a poor result. You spend less time with your family or make less money. Or things go really badly, you're down here. What we want to see happen is over time, if your goal is more time with your family, then this starts to go up here. And ideally, you start in more time with your family or more money, whatever you like. And then over time, this increases. The thing a couple of things I want to point out on this chart. if things are going badly for you and you don't do anything about it, it's a long way back from there to there. And it's even further from disaster to ideal. And the other thing, we all start at the same place. We're all in here somewhere. So you've got the opportunity at any point to make some decisions to move on to the ideal path. You can keep doing what you're doing. You can wing it and maybe end up down here, or you can take some action, get up here. Which one are you? Where are you heading on this? So you've got to think about that in your business. The other thing I'll share with you is our Practiceology model. Now, this involves essentially this is how we work with clients in Practiceology and how we structure our program. Owners want freedom. Now, that may be freedom from the practice, freedom to do what they want to do. And that comes from three different things. It's earning more, working less, and enjoying your life, which is our tagline. But those things come from having owner clarity, therapist profitability, and admin efficiency. So you have to know what you're doing. The therapists have to know what they're doing and how to do what they're doing so they're profitable, and admin need to be efficient. That plus that plus that gives you earning more, working less, enjoying your life, and business freedom. If we start with owner clarity for a second, and this involves, and the other thing you see outside of this, we've got some of the programs that our VIP clients have access to, and we'll probably focus mostly on the framework program today because that's the entry point into the Practiceology world. But the framework, when you think about it in terms of owner clarity, this is KPIs, this is priorities, profit leaks, overseeing the systems, knowing what to work on in what order. Clear employee and task boundaries is where that all sits. And if you think about clients that have been through Practiceology, Julie, for example, she believed she had to be the first in, the last out. She had to set an example for the team. She believed, well, this won't work for me. As patients expect to see me all the time. She believed that she could just do the team training herself. So, well, I can do the team training. I always have. I can do it. She then implemented our framework program, which is what we're talking about here. She implemented the framework program where we did the team training for her. And then she finally realized the team would listen to us, even though they wouldn't listen to her. Result of that, she's now doing less than 10 hours a week consulting. Team are happy, revenue is up 20+%. So you've got to own clarity, what to do next, in what order, and usually fixing the internal systems. If we move into therapist profitability up here, this is where we include job scorecards, action plans, what therapists say in consultations, compliance, reducing reliance on key team members, cancellation reduction frameworks. And one of the key things we put in this part of our program, in the framework program, it's the idea of removing money from the team members' brains. When they make recommendations to patients, often they'll say something, they base it based on what the patient can afford or can't afford, which is just a recipe for disaster. So the way we get around that is we reframe it and we put a few words into all of their scripts. And one of the key phrases we get them to say when they're recommending things for patients, if you were my, so 4 keywords, if you were my. So when they're getting to the recommendations, they'll say, if you were my mum, this is what I'd be recommending. If you were my son, this is what I'd be recommending. And once they start using those words, money disappears because it's about getting the best outcome for the patient. So the other thing you think about, and we go through this with our clients, is that in their teams, what does your best service look like? It's usually not give us a call in a few weeks, let me know how you're going. It's if you were my mum, this is what we're doing. We'll book those now to get you in. So they're the conversations we don't learn at university, and we make sure our therapists are profitable coming from our Practiceology framework. An example, Paul, one of our clients, had high cancellation rates, which were killing his margins, unclear rebookings, poor action plans. Let us know how you go. Call us back if you need to cancel. That sort of rubbish was going on. We install cancellation reduction as part of the framework program. He's now got full book, single-digit cancellations. And when you move into admin efficiency, the other pillar of our program, that's getting our admin team on board. And it's all about recalls, front desk conversion, scripting they're using at front desk, lead handling, filling the book, And you think about in most practices, how do your team answer the phone? And what do they say when they answer the phone? People ring the practice and they'll say something like, how much is a consult? Or do you treat knees? Or is Brian available for a consult? All those questions come in, and most poorly trained admin team members, this is counterintuitive as well. Most poorly trained admin team members will answer the question. So if someone rings and says, how much is a physio consult? Well, initial consult is this, and if you bring your health fund card in, if you bring your insurance in, they talk the whole spiel. Or if they say, do you treat shoulders? Well, yes, we've got a shoulder guy. I like to say, but what they don't understand is that's not the real question. The real question all those people are asking is, can you help me? So we get our admin teams at all of our clients' clinics to use, again, another very simple script. Someone rings up and says, how much is a consult? How much is a physio session? How much is a chiro session? How much do you treat shoulders? Are you open Saturdays? They answer them all with the same words. What have you done? How much is a physio consult? What have you done? Well, I hurt my shoulder. Then you start the conversation. Are you open Saturdays? What have you done? Do you treat knees? What have you done? Now, we teach admin team members the importance of those scripts because they're opening up the conversation. What have you done? Can you help me? And this leads into our whole admin training in part of our framework program. There's only a couple of key roles for admin, and we'll talk about it more in our framework program. Fill the book, get the money, and the third one is sell the wizard, which is essentially it's making sure everything they say positions the therapist as the expert, as the guru. So if someone rings and says, has Brian got any appointments tomorrow? The admin team doesn't say, oh yeah, he's got 8, 9, 10, or 11. Which do you prefer? That's going to kill cancellations. It's going to lead to increasing cancellations and cause all sorts of problems. They've got to be tighter. That doesn't sell the wizard's expertise. Patients think if the person's not busy, they're not very good. So you've got to fix that in your business. So selling the wizard is an important part of the admin efficiency. Jane put these systems into her practice, one of our clients. She had a patchwork admin team. They're all over the place, part-timers filling in here and there, patients falling through the cracks. She launched the framework program and focused on admin efficiency, higher profits, better reviews, freedom, profit, valuation. The other thing I'll tell you, this is too slow to do on your own, and your team won't listen to you. So you need help, and this is exactly what we've created inside the Practiceology program. So here's some results happening now. Owners consult in less than 3 days a week, profits are up. 4-week international trips, no issues. One of our clients just had 2 months overseas. Single-digit cancellation rates, happier teams, better patient outcomes, higher sale valuations. Guys, they're building a business, not creating a job. Now, that being said, my mantra has always been helping health business owners earn more, work less, and enjoy their lives. And I've been purposely trying to get therapists or owners off the consulting tools the last 15, 20 years. My beautiful wife, Helen, always says to me, but Paul, maybe they don't want to get off the tools. Maybe they love treating. And she's so right. We've got multiple clients in our program who just love consulting. Gavin comes to mind, just loves it. He's great at it. He's very good at it. And so he keeps doing it. But he does it because he wants to, not because he has to. He has plenty of time off and he's not doing 40 hours plus a week. He does what he loves to do and leaves the rest to the team. The key word then is choice. You want to have the choice to work the hours you want to work treating patients if you want to. You want to choose the patients you work with, and you want to choose to take holidays when and if you like. Remember, these are all just practice owners exactly like you. Anyway, that's why we created the Practiceology Framework Install, which is the entry point into Practiceology. It's not another course or collection of documents, not another webinar. It's a 6-week implementation sprint to get the basic system set up in your practice ASAP. So week 1, owner clarity. Week 2, therapist communication. Week 3, retention systems. Week 4, front desk systems. Week 5, cancellation reduction. Week 6, 90-day plans. These are the operating systems that most clinics never install. What you get with Framework, you get a business freedom blueprint with myself and one of my team to set you up exactly how to get the most out of it. You get all the team training. Remember the framework. You get the framework program, which is the starting point for your systems. We have weekly roundtables where we get together as a group. Office hours where you can come and chat with me and my team to get personal help. Full resource library, and you keep lifetime access to the framework sessions. The key point: we train the team for you with all current and future therapists. Remember, you're never a prophet in your hometown. You're never the guru when people know you. So you need experts and external experts to help you with this. So when systems get installed right, marketing works better. Recruitment improves, profits improve, stress drops, valuation increases, and not every clinic decision depends upon you. So the key question, I suppose, are you ready to own your clinic instead of it owning you? I believe you need to be rewarded as a practice owner, rewarded for the risks and things you've done creating your practice. And that fits in with my mission, returning practice owners to their families and giving them their lives back. I think your family's been waiting long enough. If you want to find out more about the install and get involved, click on the link under this video. Hope you found today useful. If you join us in the program, that's great. If you don't, I hope you got great value from it. Hope to see you in the install. Talk to you soon.